Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome for the Stallion presentation of Studbook Zangersheide. It will be a very interesting evening for all of us, as we have over 30 stallions to present to you tonight. Familiar faces, new faces, youngsters, Grand Prix horses, everything is here tonight as we present the Zangersheide Stallion catalog. It will be a very interesting evening as we try to share as much as information as possible with you. We're currently at Centaur Park. It's for the third time already in the Zangersheide history that they organize here the Zangersheide International, and that's a very interesting event, as we do host here the Zangersheide Stallion approval with over 120 stallions in the catalog this weekend. We host here a 4-star international event, and this is the night for the Zangersheide Stallion presentation. Like said in an earlier stage already, we do have tonight over 30 stallions to present, and tonight there's commentating in over 4 languages. Of course, Frederik de Bakker and Julian, they are in the arena. They will commentate and presentate the stallions in Dutch or in Belgium. On my left-hand side, there's the regular French commentator, Kamal, who is doing the French commentating, and Henner Hoosen is also on my left-hand side, and he is here for Germany. Frederik de Bakker and Julian, they welcome everyone here. Riders, breeders, people who are interested in Studbook Zangersheide. It's pretty crowded on the stages here in Centaur Park, and you do see we have a small course set up, as some of the stallions will be present under the saddle. Not the first stallion who is going to enter the arena. He's standing already at the entrance. That's a familiar face, and it's also a new face in the Zangersheide Stallion catalog. We keep you a bit excited for the moment once he enters the arena, once the camera will put him in the spotlights, and then you will probably recognize him immediately. But that moment is almost there. Still waiting here. Frederik de Bakker is already pointing to the entrance of the arena, and now he is coming in. You recognize him with his fabulous chestnut color, with the white markings on the legs, on the head. It's Darry Lou. Darry Lou by Tangelo van de Zuidhoeven, Nabab de Rêve and Burgraaf. A fabulous pedigree. He's bred by international Grand Prix rider Roelof Bril. He paired Tangelo to the 1m45 mare Venus, and then the Gran, who has a breeding name by Free Lady, but in sport we do know her as Burggravin. Jumped herself at the 1m60 Grand Prix level. In the name of Juliana, I can tell her that they all had a good relation with the Gates family, and Darry Lou now retires from sport, and they're proud to work together for his breeding career. So he never had an official sport goodbye, but this is that moment. And Darry Lou, former Grand Prix horse of BZ Madden and of Harry Smolders, has been retired from sport and will be fully available for you as a breeder. He has a handful of offspring, but they're not at an age yet that they're competing already at international level. A little bit more about its family. I told you already, Mother Venus, she jumped herself at 145 level with Deborah Jackson. And in breeding, she already gave Beat Me, who's jumping in the 155 classes with Chet Fellows. And that one is the mother to another Grand Prix stallion you do know, as it's F1 USA, who's competing at the very highest 5-star Grand Prix level under the saddle of Lorenzo De Luca. This unreal stallion with a lovely type, with a super character, won in his career over €1.5 million in prize money. With BZ Madden, for example, he won the famous Spruce Meadows Grand Prix. He won the Nations Cup at Spruce Meadows. And with Harry Smolders, he was the winner of the Nations Cup class in Falsterbo. You will do see it on the screen. He won with Harry Smolders also the Grand Prix of Valkenswaard. And with Nayel Nazar, one of his other former riders, he became the number 10 at Spruce Meadows again at the Grand Prix of Spruce Meadows. Here you see him competing under the saddle of BZ Madden. They won that famous and prestigious Spruce Meadows Grand Prix, one of the best horses he ever had in her career. Competed at the biggest Grand Prix all over the globe. And this horse, still in a very good condition at the age of 17, will be now available for breeding at Studbook Zangersheide. And that seems to be a unique chance. Every rider who has been in the saddle loved his qualities and have set up good results with him. Best results in his career, of course, with BZ Madden, Spruce Meadows winner, won in Wellington the Dirridge Farm Nations Cup at 1.60 m height, won in Wellington the 4-star Grand Prix, and became also winner again in 2019, one of the 1.60 m classes. His qualities, and you do see it here in the screen, in breeding are probably his scope, his jumping qualities, his rideability and his technique. And there's something to add, as probably also his lovely character will be added to his offspring. If you, or if we can give a small breeding advice, then it will probably be that we would use him on a larger framed mare with enough length in the back and a mare who is built upwards a little bit. It's also a little bit familiar for the offspring of Tangelo van de Zuidhoeve, of course the sire to this Darry Lou, this 5-star Grand Prix winner, and the former rides of BZ Madden, Nayel Nazar and Harry Smolders present here at the Zangersheide Stallion presentation in Centaur Park at the age of 17. The owners of Darry Lou are currently competing and working in Wellington in America. But the farewell of Darry Lou is also in their hearts as the owners, as the former riders of this top stallion.
My name is Nayel Nazar. In the course, Darry Lou really came alive, especially on a big grass field. You really felt like he grew, you know, going into the arena. That was his moment to shine, and I think he knew it. The bigger the atmosphere, the more people, the more buzz, the bigger he got. You know, he just, he really loved to compete, and he loved to gallop on big fields. And that was really the place where he felt the most alive and the most at home. And all the success he had were always just really smooth rounds, regardless of who was riding him. And I think he gave the rider an ability to do that because of how calm and collected and cool he was in his mind. The highlight of Darry Lou's career has to be his win at the CP International with BZ. I think he was the only double clear that day. Massive, massive course. And he really just ate the jumps. I mean, he made it look so easy. That was in the prime of his career. That probably has to be the biggest win of his life. We have so many fond memories of Darry Lou. He was just such a cool character to have around the barn. Again, like for a stallion, he was just so easygoing. He had this presence about him that was really unique and special. And he was so cool that anybody could ride him. So, you know, he was really, you know, a family horse. Jen rode him, I rode him. Harry eventually rode him. So he, regardless of who was on his back, he always came out to do well and do his job. And he was always happy doing it. And I think that just really leaves a mark on us here at Evergate. If I could talk to Darry Lou, I would just tell him thank you for being such a remarkable horse, remarkable animal, to really all the riders that came across his life.
Yeah, it's the official goodbye from the sport for Darry Lou, ladies and gentlemen. Thankful words of his former rider, Nayel Nazar. One of their highlights was the win at the CP International at Spruce Meadows under the saddle of BZ Madden. And if you're, as a breeder, looking for 5-star Grand Prix quality, scope, rideability, technique and a top character, then this could be the perfect partner for your mare. If your mare is a bit larger framed, has enough length in the back and is built upwards a little bit. Few offspring of Darry Lou already. And that offspring is looking promising. And we can imagine why. As if you're from this kind of family, if you have this kind of character and this kind of results at 5-star Grand Prix level. Frederik de Bakker is asking for a standing ovation for Darry Lou, who gets a big round of applause by the public, by the breeders, by the spectators here at the Zangersheide International, at the Zangersheide Stallion presentation. What a stallion it is, ladies and gentlemen. Darry Lou by Tangelo, Nabab and Burggraaf. We continue the Stallion presentation with a youngster coming in. Champion 2000 Z is the name. Is bred with Tony Fourier, stud 2000. And we do see here Kornet Obolensky combined with Cosmeo and Caretano Z. Stallion with a height of 1m66, born in 2021, only 4 years of age. And we recognize the former Grand Prix and World Cup rider Joe Klee in the saddle of Champion 2000 Z. Of course, everyone knows the success stories of Dominator and Allroad Z. We work already for a long time together with Tony Fourier's of Stud 2000. And then Junian says, I also bought 50% of the Dem Cheval 2000. And we are looking forward to the next generations of offspring of this fantastic mare. Champion arrived at Zangersheide when he was 2 years of age, and we immediately loved him. He's approved at our Stallion approval in September 24 and was one of the crowd's favorites. And I remember that moment as he was one of the few stallions who received a big hand of applause during that Stallion approval. Also something, it is the first and currently the only Kornet Obolensky son who was added in the Zangersheide Stallion collection for this season. Only 4 years of age, and look him going around already. A stallion with very less experience yet. Flashy from the poles, but what about his family? As told you already, it's bred with Tony Fourier, stud 2000. Bred of Chepal 2000, a mare who competed during her sportive career up to 1m40 level herself. And Chepal gave him breeding already the Grand Prix Stallion Dominator 2000, and she's also the mother to Allroad 2000 Z. Third mother, Imandra by Adelaide Z, competed with Thorsten Wittenberg in Germany. Also at sportive level, so there's a lot of sport behind this Champion 2000 Z. And then this is the same dam line as Anaconda, who jumped at the European Championships in Arnhem. Later or previous with Willy Meliger, and Valentin de Villagana of Giacomo Cassadei. They both performed at 1m60 Grand Prix level, and they're both relatives to this Champion 2000 Z. Still a very young stallion, born in 2021 as said. Stallion with a height of 1m66. Julian describes this stallion, her stallion, as a very modern stallion. Stallion who is able to add jumping quality, blood, and rideability. As said, he is a very modern type. He's careful, quick, far from the ground, agile, and he is able to add blood. Something you can see on his model, on his body already. He's a very light stallion, a very blood-type stallion, and a very modern stallion. Who behaves very well here in the big arena, the showgrounds for the Zangersheide Stallion presentation. Frederick now is asking, if you do see this stallion here going around, and you know him a little bit already, what would be your breeding advice for him? And as he says, well, Champion is very modern, very light sport horse. He will probably not bring as much size as his brothers. And then he mentioned to Dominator and Allroad 2000, but he has a lot of similarities with his father, Kornet Obolensky. He's very noble, has a very good conformation, and like said, it's the only Kornet Obolensky or direct Kornet Obolensky offspring in the Zangersheide Stallion catalog. Final time for Champion 2000 Z coming into the line here. Yeah, lovely jump, quick from the ground, good reflexes, super shoulder. We've been watching to a very light and modern stallion who has, for its age, already a very good rideability. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been watching to Champion 2000 Z by Kornet Obolensky and the former 1m40 performer Cheval by Cassini 1 out of the same dam as Dominator and Allroad 2000 Z. Yeah, also sired by a stallion who has so far only one offspring in the stallion catalog, and that's Gran Dorado. Gran Dorado, who is paired here with Contagio Z, as we're currently looking to Gran Diablo Victory Z. Another stallion born in 2021, 1m70 height, and this Gran Diablo is bred with Joost van Riet in Belgium. A little bit more about Gran Diablo. He's bought at a stallion approval in September 2024 in Lannake. He was an amazing jumper. He immediately catch the interest, and Julian tells that he knows the dam, Baluka Hero, very well. She has a fantastic pedigree and proved already to produce really good show jumpers up to international Grand Prix level. And this Gran Diablo Victory Z is a true sport horse with an easy-going character. Gran Dorado paired with Baluka Hero, direct daughter to Contagio Z, and then we recognize the blood of Kaleto II. Grandam Ulika was herself a former international Grand Prix performer. Only this stallion is making his appearance in front of the public, or the big public, for the first time. 4 years of age, born in 2021. And showing good respect for the fences, A lot of ease, a lot of balance. A little bit more about his family. Said before, he is a brother of Angelica Hero Z. And Angelica Hero competed at 155 level with Sam Walker. And he's the brother of 2 more horses at a minimum of 1m45 level. The ultra-competitive Tender Dream Hero Z of Mathieu Guéry and Alexa Hero from Maxime Tips, both performing at the international 145 level, and both brothers to this Grand Diablo Victory Z. Grandmother Ulika by Caletto. She jumped herself at 160 Grand Prix level with Thomas Schöning. Gave already 3 horses at a minimum of 1m50 or higher. Sister of Ulika is the Grandam of Contagio Z, the top progenitor. And Grandorado, yeah, there's so much more to tell about him and his career under the saddle of Willem Greve. For example, they became 3rd in the Sertogenbosch Grand Prix. They were qualified for the Olympics. And recently they became 3rd during the World Cup in Bordeaux. And of course with Willem Greve. The Orange Equipe team of the Netherlands won the Nations Cup in Rotterdam at CAO. Stallion with a fabulous canter, Stallion with a lot of balance. We're curious what kind of qualities Julian does see in this Grand Diablo Victory Z. Very mature presentation already for this stallion, who has only the age of 4 years. And as he said, yeah, well, his typical qualities are probably the scope, of course the size. It's a stallion of 1m70. And then he has in his model a lot of length. And he has a fabulous stride, so fabulous canter. Scope, stride, length in the canter, balance. And Julian said, it's not always easy to give breeding advice for young stallions, as this Grand Diablo Victory Z is. But he is really a good jumper with a lot of blow, with a lot of scope and a lot of balance. And if I could give one advice, I would use him on mares to add size, scope and of course jumping quality, as that's what he's really showing currently at the age of only 4. The final time, ladies and gentlemen, for Grand Diablo Victory Z, son of Grandorado, combined with Baluka Hero, mother to several internationals, including Alexa Hero, Tender Dream Hero, Angelica Hero and Dream Alive Hero. Not much to say more about him if they finish the line like that. We've been watching to Grand Diablo Victory Z, stallion with a height of 1m70, born in 2021. Grandorado out of Baluka Hero, who in turn is a direct daughter to the Grand Prix mare Ulika by Caletto. And of course, Grand Diablo Victory Z has been presented here at the Zangersheide Stallion presentation under the saddle of Angelique Roos. Well, Joe Klee has a pretty busy evening, as he has been mounted in the saddle of Asgreen 2000 Z. Asgreen 2000 Z, sired by Aganix du Seigneur, combined with Echo van Spieveld and then Contagio Z. Born in 2021, and Julian is telling now we bought Asgreen from Tony Fourier's when he was a 3-month-old foal. Proved here in Centaur during our spring stallion approvals last year, so it was in 2024. And he bred last year at the stud farm of the Van Dalen family, better known as Keros. So his first foals will be born in maybe just a few weeks or a few months' time. Asgreen 2000 Z, Aganix du Seigneur, paired with Mom's Lady D van Roosakker by Echo van Spieveld, and then the famous Elektra van Roosakker by Contagio Z. Wow, spectacular hind finish of him jumping the line for the first time under the saddle of Joe Klee. A bit more about the family of Asgreen 2000 Z. Like said before, sired by the Grand Prix stallion Aganix du Seigneur. He is bred out of the full sister of Kassander van Roosakker. To them, Mom's Lady D competed up to 1.40 m level under the saddle of Caroline Poels de Vos. And she is mother already of Puerto Rico van Roosakker, who is jumping at young rider level under the saddle of the Irish rider Kian Dor, 1.45 m currently. Grandmother Elektra van Roosakker jumped with Jos Lansing and Jannica Sprunger up to the 5-star Grand Prix classes. And in breeding, Elektra is not only the dam to the mother of this Asgreen 2000 Z, but she's also the mother to Hor Pleasure, 160 jumper, of Nelson van Roosakker from Marit Haar Skollerund, 1.60 m jumper. Imke van Roosakker, 145 with Frank Schuttert, of Caprice, who won 5-star Grand Prix with Kent Farrington, and of Estrella Hero Z, 1.45 m jumper with Victor Bettendorf. Talking about well-known international families, well, this one is known worldwide. The line of Lady D, the line of Elektra van Roosakker, of Atusha, and so many others. It does ring a bell all over the globe. As we judge his jumping qualities, Julian said that she does see rideability, she sees scope, and she sees a very powerful and length of the stride in canter. Length, rideability, scope, fantastic balance in the canter. And he is, or he seems to be, a classic type of stallion, of sport horse with enough size, as it's a stallion of 1.67 m height measured. Fabulous jumps and still very playful. It's a busy evening for Joe Klee, presenting even the youngsters here tonight. And of course, we're curious again what the breeding advice would be, as there are flavors in this stallion catalog, or the Zangersheide stallion catalog, for all of us. Stallions who add specific scope, blood, canter, technique, character. And Julian says, well, we still have to see, as the first foals are coming this year. Will be just a couple of months or weeks time, and then immediately the pictures and the videos will be shared on the socials and on the website of Zangersheide. Asgreen himself is a classic typed horse with plenty of length and scope. And if she could give an advice, she said, I would use him for these specific qualities. So length in the canter and absolutely scope and a spectacular hind finish. Scope never gets old. Frederik de Bakker says, ladies and gentlemen, we've been watching together to Asgreen 2000 Z, Aganix du Seigneur combined with Lady D van Roosakker, who jumped at 140 level, who's a direct daughter to Echo van Spieveld, and the grandmother Elektra van Roosakker, we all known as she jumped the very highest level with Jennica Sprunger and Jos Lansing. Well, we stay in the family as former top stallion is entering the arena by hand, Kassander van Roosakker. Yeah, Julian says, very happy to have him still in the catalog. Kassander van Roosakker was a very promising stallion born in 2010 with a height of 1.70 m, promising in sport. Under the saddle of Gregory Watle, jumped up to the 1.40 m classes before getting injured, sadly. But he said, I was able to buy him for sport and breeding. But still was not possible at that time, so she tried to. And after the injury, his sportive injury, he was able to move to Larnaca for his breeding career. Kassander van Roosakker bred with Mark Kluskens. Echo van Spieveld directly paired with the Grand Prix mare Elektra van Roosakker by Contagio Z. And then we recognize the blood of Darko. Grandmother Atusha van Roosakker in turn is a direct daughter to Usha van Roosakker, one of the big names in breeding, one of the foundation mares. Has already offspring at international Grand Prix level. For example, this Picobello van Roosakker. Kassander van Roosakker paired with Kibis Z, currently performing in the 1.55 m Grand Prix classes at 2- and 3-star level under the saddle of Jason Smith. And some of their results, they became second in the 1.45 m Grand Prix in Samorin previous year in 2024. They became fourth in the Grand Prix of Gorla Minore. And in Geneva, they ended up in the top 10 in the 1.55 m ranking class. And they also end up on stage during another Grand Prix in Samorin in Slovakia. Offspring of Kassander van Roosakker present here at the Zangersheide Stallion presentation during the Zangersheide International here at Centaur Park. Talking about the specific qualities this Kassander van Roosakker has, then we do see in the screen scope, size, and again length in the stride. Stallion with a height of 1.70 m, born in 2010. Stallion who showed during his sport presentation a lot of scope, a fantastic canter, very good balance, and of course a good character. And then Frederick is asking, yeah, well, bring it on, give us another breeding advice. And she said, well, we know a little bit more about him already, and Kassander will bring scope, size, a good canter, very good models, and yeah, this is already what you see at the stallion approvals and at his offspring in sport. He can use blood mares with a sharp front leg technique. So on mares with a very good and flashy shoulder, he seemed to have the best results. Crowd is asking for a round of applause, and he gets it. We've been watching together to Kassander van Roosakker. Echo van Spieveld directly paired to the Grand Prix mare Elektra van Roosakker by Contagio Z. Well, hopefully you are enjoying the Zangersheide Stallion presentation. So far we've seen the sportive farewell and the welcome to the Zangersheide Stallion stable of Darry Lou by Tangelo and Nabab de Rêve. We've seen a few youngsters. Champion 2000, Cornado Bolensky paired with Cheval by Cassini 1. Gran Diablo Victory Z for the first time under the saddle. Gran Dorado combined with Baluka Hero by Contagio Z. Asgreen 2000, Aganix du Seigneur paired with Mom's Lady D van Roosakker. And of course, presented by hand, Kassander van Roosakker, Echo van Spieveld, directly out of the Grand Prix mare Elektra van Roosakker by Contagio Z. You're able to watch a few highlights. Gran Diablo Victory Z we saw here Jokely in the saddle of Asgreen 2000 Z. Asgreen by Aganix and Lady D. And here the presentation by hand of Kassander van Roosakker, showing himself in a very good condition at the age of 15. Sadly, an injury stood his sportive career in the way. Was jumping at a height of 1.40 m himself, but his offspring is already jumping at the very highest level. Picobello van Roosakker, for example, with Jason Smith jumping in the 155 classes. Queen Kimmer Hero, Kassander Aganix jumping in the 150s. Kenia Eureka, 1.50 m performer. Pokerface van Hagenhoff jumping in America at 145 level. Kailash Eureka, Kassander Verdi jumping at 1.45 m level. And King of China Hero Z, Juan Carlos Garcia. Kassander Chin Chin, another international at 1.50 m level. During this stallion presentation, you're able to ask your questions to Julian or to Frederick. Just scan the QR code with your telephone, and then your questions will be brought to Frederick and Julian, and you can have an immediate answer during this Zangersheide Stallion presentation. A very unique event. It's the third time that Studbook Zangersheide is hosting this Zangersheide International. And there's, for us as hippic and horse lovers, a lot to do this weekend at Centaur Park. Today we had the presentation of the to-be approved stallions on the hard surface. Stallion catalog with 120 stallions on the starting list. Tomorrow, back again in the Stallion Arena. We start then with the free jumping. And on Saturday, it's the second day of the free jumping. And then, hopefully, as much as possible, stallions can be invited with an approval. Tomorrow, we do host here the sires. On Saturday, there's the Zangersheide Stallion auction. And on Sunday, of course, the Zangersheide International 4-star Grand Prix. Small course has raced in the showroom of the Zangersheide Stallion catalog. And it's waiting for the next stallions who present themselves here. Over 30 stallions are present. And we are curious what will be next. Christian Alman competing here, of course, at the Zangersheide International, but he seems to be the course designer. Small course has been raced. And the next stallions are behind the screens, waiting to enter the arena. not just stallions. We told you already during the start of the Stallion presentation that familiar faces and Grand Prix stallions will be present here tonight. And one of them is, of course, Dominator 2000 Z. Diamant Semi combined with Cheval by Cassini 1. Stallion with a height of 1.78 meters on the wither. Born in 2010. And Dominator will be present here by hand. Julian is telling a little bit more about the moment when she met him. She says, I know Dominator since he was 2.5 years of age, when I saw him free jumping, and it was love at the first sight. We were able to buy him from his breeder, from Tony Fourier, when he was 4 years of age, when they saw some videos of Dominator 2000 Z jumping under the saddle of Kim Kollars. Yeah, well, and the rest of the story is history. Dominator reached the very highest 5-star Grand Prix level under the saddle of Christian Allman, but I haven't seen him much lately in the sport as he's still recovering from a bone surgery. And that's why we missed him a little bit in the active sport lately. This season we will start to cover some frozen semen from him, and well, all goes well, when the recovery goes well, we will maybe able to offer him with fresh semen this season as well. So it depends a little bit on his recovery process, as they're still trying to bring him back into the sport. Dominator 2000 Z, top stallion of Christian Allman, with a very, very successful palmarès. Yeah, let's refresh our memories. The results: he became third during the Global Champions team competition in Prague. He won the Global of Doha of Al Shagab. He became the #1 during the Global Champions Tour in Stockholm, and he also won the Global Champions Tour of Hamburg. Then he ended up on a second place, runner-up position during the Global Champions Tour in Paris. He became second in Samorin during the Global Champions Tour at 1.60 meter height, and he became in Aken the #6 of the Grand Prix. Only a few results on the palmarès of Dominator 2000 Z. Fantastic sportive career, but he wasn't only successful in sport. No, look at his offspring. Over 50 sons of Dominator are approved for breeding already. We do see here Aganix 2000 Z Dominator combined with Aganix du Seigneur Dominate Me. That's Dominator combined with Contact Me, who is jumping with Christian Koekoek nowadays at 1.55 meter level. You see it in the screens, performing here at the Dutch Masters in Den Bosch. Orange de Bougie Dominator combined with Barbarian, who became a world champion at the most recent World Championships in Larnaca for 5-year-old horses under the saddle of Niem McAvoy. Fantastic result, what a jumper it is. Doan van de Vosberg Z, another international performer from Dominator, who is paired in this turn with Pythagoras Z. Doan also performing international at 1.50 meter level under the saddle of Sasha Begin. And then of course, Querido VG Z Dominator paired with Celano Z, out of the same dam as Leandro. Jumping at the very highest level with Angelique Russe. And also Joko Z Dominator combined with Darko is performing at a 5-star Grand Prix rider with Ioli Mitalineu. A few other results of his offspring. Dios d'Amour, Dominator Cantos, jumping in the 150 classes. Don Juan of Jarno van Erp, Dominator Fuego du Prelet, 1m40 jumper. Dracon of Henrik Do, Dominator Balou du Rouet, 1m45 jumper. And Dynamite Dillion of Lars Kersten, who is jumping nowadays in the 1m40 classes. Dominator paired with Lord Kaleto. His specific qualities are a fantastic technique, scope, of course size, as he is himself 1m78, length of the stride, so a very good canter, and his jumping technique. And then finally, Julian reveals that he is very tall himself, and he also advised to look at the length of the mare, as he isn't not crazy long in the back himself. So take a close look to your mare if you use him. Dominator proved already to produce really outstanding sport horses. They have an extreme quality for defense, for the wood, and a lot of respect. And although a lot of breeders would use Dominator for his scope, the quality and respect he passes on to his breeding is maybe even stronger. 5-star Grand Prix Stallion you can use, ladies and gentlemen, in your breeding. For sure with frozen semen and maybe with fresh semen this season. We've been watching to Dominator 2000 Z, son of Diamante Semi, combined with Cheval by Cassini 1. Over 50 approved sons already. Next stallion in is Dazzle Z with Joe Klee in the saddle. Dazzle Z is Dominator, paired with Carretano Z and Carthago Z. Born in 2020, height of 1m65. And then Julian says, I bred Dazzle Z myself out of one of my former Grand Prix mares, namely Carry Z. Carry, who jumped at the very highest 5-star Grand Prix level, reached the final of the Longines Global Champions Tour in Rio de Janeiro. And Carry Z, the mother, had lots of blood and jumping quality and plenty of length all over her body, all over her model. This Dazzle Z has been presented already in the Belgium Stallion competition and jumped a very great first round. Yeah, a bit more about the family. Like Julian said, I've bred him together with my father Leon Melchior, full brother of Darwin Z, who now competes at 1m40 level and is currently focusing on the sport. And his half brother of Copycat Z, who has been seen under the saddle of Harry Smolders. Sister of the mother gave already Cosmos BH, jumping at 5-star 160 Grand Prix level under the saddle of Mimi Gockman. And also grandmother Cherry. Cherry Z jumped at international level, 1m50 height, with Stefan Korte. Yeah, we saw him jumping around in a perfect technique in the repetition. Frederik is repeating the story a little bit. Dazzle Z by Dominator 2000 combined with Carretano and Carthago. Combined with the mother who jumped at 160 Grand Prix level, and a grandmother, Cherry Z, who also competed international at 1.50 m level with Stefan Korte, sister of the mother. Like I said earlier, gave Cosmos BH of Mimi Gokman. And grandmother Cherry is a sister to the Olympic stallion Robin 1 Z. Jumped at the Olympics in Atlanta under the saddle of Peter Eriksson, and is the father to Butterfly Flip of Malin Baryard Johnson, and is a sister to Robin 2 Z, former Grand Prix horse of Thomas Velin for Denmark, and father to World Cup competitor Utopia van de Donkhoeve of Pieter de Vos. Fabulous jumps there of Dazzle Z, the Dominator Carretano, born in 2020. Stallion with a height of 1.65 m. Strengths of this stallion, of Dazzle Z, 5-year-old stallion, are of course his jumping quality, rideability, stride and length. For quite a small horse he has a very good canter, and he is slightly more refined than Dominator 2000 Z, so he's a little bit more compact. And she said, you know, if I talk to the riders of Dazzle, they do agree that he has a fantastic riding comfort, lots of canter, especially for a relatively smaller horse, as this Dazzle Z has a height on the wither of 1.65 m. We do hear him here live bumping off the ground, which seems to be a very good sign. Yeah, great jumps, fantastic jumps, and so much ease. Watching to Dazzle Z. Forgot to tell you the breeding advice for Dazzle. Has a lot of rideability and he's very commercial type of horse with a lovely character. And Julian said we would use him on larger mares who could use some riding comfort and of course jumping technique. Dazzle Z, Dominator Carretano Z, born in 2020. We continue the stallion presentation with another future prospect, Devil 2000 Z, sired by Dominator, combined with Chin Chin and Carretino, combined with one of the big names in breeding, namely China Touch Hero. Duran says, what's in the name, as this Devil is quite a spicy one, co-owned by Christian Allman and Daniel Deusser. And Devil 2000 Z is bought at the Zangersheide quality auction, like said by Christian and Daniel. And as a 2-year-old approved already at Studbook Zangersheide. In the previous 2 years, he covered already quite a lot of mares, and his foals have been seen in 2024. Foals are making a very positive impression, he says, as they are looking modern and they are showing a lot of blood. Swedish rider in the saddle of Devil 2000 Z. So Frederick was asking if she understood all. Great family, Devil 2000 Z, born in 2020 with a height on the wither of 1.67 meters. Promising start for this son of Dominator, who's also bred in the stables of Tony Fourier. Approved at 2.5 years of age. Dominator China Touch, who performed herself at 1.40 meter level. By Patricia and Jérôme Guéry. Wow. Yeah, impressive jumps, flashy from the ground. Very explosive when he takes off. Looking a little bit closer to its family. Like said before, the mother, China Touch Hero, jumped at 140 level. And this Devil 2000 Z is the brother of 6 horses who do perform at a minimum of 1.45 meter up to 1.60 meter Grand Prix level, including the stallions Don't Touch TG Hero, father to Duran Hero Z, Grand Prix stallion, and to Allroad Hero of Peter Clemens, who also performed in the Grand Prix at 160 level. Sister gave Aganix du Seigneur, we currently see at World Cup level in the saddle of the Belgium top rider Rick Hemerik. And grandmother is the mother to 6 horses at a minimum of 1.45 meter up to 1.60 meter level, including Gracier du Pachy, 160, Julien Epaillard and Alessandra Volpi, Verdini Doutveld, 160 with Laura Balkamp, and Tinka's Hero Z, 160 under the saddle of Simon Delestre and Jennifer Hoogstatter. Second round of Devil 2000 Z. Stallion with a fantastic canter. A lot of ability to switch in the gears. Making impressive jumps here during the Zangersheide Stallion presentation. Not just a fantastic family, ladies and gentlemen, but he is himself a fantastic stallion as well. Discussing the specific qualities of Devil 2000 Z. Well, Julian said it wasn't easy, as they asked me to pick out just 4 qualities, but he has so many. But if I have to say, I would say that he has a lot of scope, he has fantastic jumping technique, he can add quality, and he has a lot of blood, so he is a very modern stallion as well. In breeding, she said, of course, he will add blood and sharpness. Seems to be a little bit lighter than his father Dominator. if I could give a breeding advice, a lighter horse with a lot of blood, so he seems to be a bit lighter than Dominator. He can add an uphill canter and he will pass on sharpness and blood. So, if she could give an advice, she said, I should use him on medium or larger mares because of his modern type, because of his blood and reflexes. Let's enjoy the final round of Dazzle 2000 Z. The Dominator, Chin Chin, the Dominator paired with that fantastic breeding mare, China Touch Hero. Born in 2020, 1m67. Final jump of Dazzle 2000 Z, ladies and gentlemen. That's how a youngster prospect needs to jump. Seems to have a very big future ahead. We've been watching to Dazzle 2000 Z, Dominator, China Touch Hero by Chin Chin. 5 years of age with a height of 1m67. Introducing now the Aken winners. Coming in by hand. In front we see Codex 1. Behind Codex 1 we do see E-Pleaser, the final stallion who enters the arena in this Aken showpot is Conrad's HH Z. All with their specific qualities, but all successful at the mecca of show jumping. Here we do see E-Pleaser under the saddle of Christian Alman. One of his former Grand Prix horses, one of his former Grand Prix stallions. The Aken Stars all present here at the Zangersheide Stallion presentation. Codex 1, born in 2002, with a height of 1m69. Competed himself at the Olympic Games in London, competed himself at the World Equestrian Games in Cannes. And just to name a few results, won the Global in Valkenswaard, won the Global in Berlin, was the #1 in Hamburg, Stuttgart, Neumünster, Basel, like said in Aken and in Chantilly. A fantastic result list, an incredible palmarès. Codex 1 Z by Contagio and Glückspilz. Not just victorious during a lot of global champions tours, but also runner-up in the Global of Valkenswaard, in the Grand Prix of Münster, in the Nations Cup of Aken, in the 2 rounds Grand Prix of Brussels, and during the Nations Cup in Barcelona. Closer look to the offspring of Codex 1. There's a new group of offspring coming through. Before, only Curious George with Abdel Said and Laura Kraut have been jumping at international Grand Prix level. But now there are a few 9-year-olds who are stepping up to the international stage. From his crop, born in 2016, those horses are now 9 years of age. 12 are found at a minimum of 1 meter 45 level or higher. Like I said, Curious George competing in the 165 classes already. Codex combined with Dutch Capitol. We saw Casanova 1 BVL jumping in the 155 classes. Codex Diaz competing in the 140 classes. And Corlier Carlotta, that's Codex 1 combined with Cornetto Bolensky. And that one is performing in the 1 meter 50 classes. So there's a new generation of Codex 1 offspring coming up on the international stage. And then his specific qualities. Julian was only able to select 4 again. As he said, his great character combined with the rideability, with the stride length, so the canter, of course his jumping quality and his scope. As he said, the offspring of Codex are extremely similar to the sire himself. Stallion, who passes on his genes as dominant as Codex, does it always at an advantage. His rideability, his type, and his way of jumping, his jumping technique. He's a very dominant stallion in breeding, so he breeds very similar how he is himself. Codex 1 by Contendro 1 and Glückspilz. Next stallion to discuss is Pleaser Z, born in 2004 with a height of 1 meter 70. For pleasure, Nabab Lies. Dam Valentina van Heijken won team bronze at the World Equestrian Games in Lexington with Jos Lensink and was on stage in multiple 5-star Grand Prix. Pleaser is a brother to another 160 Grand Prix stallion named Boomer van Heijken. And out of the direct dam line are Fairlight van Heijken, who won a global with Alberto Zorzi. Cassandra van Heijken won several Grand Prix with Thiago Ribas da Costa. And Edelbert, who competed at the Olympics with Dirk de Meersman. A few of the results of Pleaser Z, the For Pleasure and Nabab de Rêve, who competed with Christian Alman. Number 1 in Villach Treffe at 5-star Grand Prix level. 3rd in the Global of Miami, 3rd in the Global of Hamburg, and 3rd during the Grand Palais Grand Prix in Paris. Then he ended up on the 4th position in Mexico City, 4th during the Nations Cup in La Bolle, and the number 5 in Hickstead. He jumped himself 44 classes at 160 Grand Prix level, and a third of them were cleared. And he was placed 21 times and even 6 times in the top 3. Incredible results from Pleaser, who has offspring at the highest level already. We saw Kalinka van der Nachtegale, who won a World Cup with Angelica Augustsson, the World Cup of Helsinki. Ikitron Melody van de Smitshoeve, Pleaser combined with Thunder, jumping in the 160 classes with Gerfried Puck. And we did see Ganati, 155 performer, and Expecto du Vieux Sato jumping in the 160 classes as well. Pleaser can add size, scope, but also blood and jumping qualities. She says Pleaser breeds extremely careful horses with a more classic type. You can use him to add blood and quality to your mares. And Pleaser has the highest percentage of 160 jumpers in the world. As he said, I can only advise to use him now while he's still available with fresh season. So ladies and gentlemen, take your chance again this season on Pleaser Z, as he will be available with fresh semen, the Grand Prix Stallion. And then we continue with another horse who performed very well in Aken. Double H Conrad Z, Conrad is Con Air, paired here with Locato. Stallion with a height of 1.70 m, born in 2005. 20 years of age, but still in a very good condition, Double H Conrad. Different than the other two Stallion who are still in the arena, but one thing they have in common, also Double H Conrad Z has a very, very long result list. He won in the past the Global of Chantilly at 160 level. But he was also the best during the final of the Nations Cup in Barcelona with Team Belgium. And of course, Gregory Watley won a 1.60 m Nations Cup in Aken with Double H Conrad Z. Top Stallion who became Vice-European Champion in Aken behind Zenit SFN and Jeroen Dubbeldam, who became World Champion over there. Few of his offspring, Clapton Mouche, Conrad combined with Elan de la Cour, performing in the 160 classes with Michael Duffy. We have Chippendale de la Tour, Conrad combined with For Pleasure, also performing at 160 Grand Prix level with Omar Bonomelli. There's Crooner Tame, Conrad out of Caprice du Bois Margaux, performing in the 160 classes with Megan Mozonrier. And there is Cheruti de Kreisker, that's Conrad combined with Diamant de Semi. And that one is jumping himself in the 1.55 m classes. From his first crop, born in 2010. First crop, only 8 foals. But from that first crop, we do see the 160 performer Annibal de Hus of Bertram. Second crop, 16 foals. 7 of them are jumping in the 1.45 m classes. Incredible numbers for Double H Conrad Z. His specific qualities are his scope, the length of the strides, of course the balance, said before a couple of times, the rideability and his top character. Foals and sport horses by Conrad are very noble with a really nice conformation. The rideable have a lot of scope and he breeds very well on French mares and mares who are high in blood. The advice of Judy and Melchior, ladies and gentlemen, we've been watching together to the former Grand Prix horses Codex 1, E-Pleaser Z and Double H Conrad Z. Duran Hero Z. Stud Hero Lucanry is the breeder to the Zangersheide approved stallion. Seacoast Don't Touch TG Hero combined with Zandor Z. Stallion with a height of 1.71 m. Like said, born in 2015, 10 years of age, became Vice World Champion at the age of only 7. And in the previous years, he always jumped at the presentation, but now he doesn't jump because he goes to Doha in the next week. He has developed himself up to and including the 5-star Grand Prix. Christian flies economy, but Durkan, he flies first class. And El Safal is the regular showroom of this Duran Hero, as he presents him here by hand. Stepping up to the very highest 5-star Grand Prix level, Duran Hero Z under the saddle of Christian Allman. 2024, the year of their breakthrough. Ended up in Monterrey in Mexico on a 4th position in the 1m60 class. A result they continue later on, again in Monterrey, with another 4th place in the 160. And they became in London the number 18 in the Global Champions Tour. So they made their global debut already a year ago at the age of 9. Duran Hero Z under the saddle of Christian Allman. It's family. Let's take a closer look. Duran Hero Z is the oldest son of Zinka de Calvary. Out of Zinka, there's the 1 year younger Chiara de Calvary, who competed at 145 level with Marta Heudens. And there's a little scope as he's currently in the Sunshine Tour performing with Gilles Thomas. Mother Zinka is the full sister to Zarkava Hero Z, placed in the 160 Grand Prix and won a few already with Johnny Pauls. And then the third mother, she is Atusha van Roosakker, in turn mother to Elektra, Falco and Gatusha, all international performers, and a direct daughter to Usha van Roosakker. Atusha gave Elektra, Falco and Gatusha, and Atusha is a daughter to Usha and sister to Babbe van Roosakker, Colorit Carey and Michele Kaar, 160. Cella of Ben Meyer, former European champion. Perio van Roosakker of Emmanuel Camille and Ecuador van Roosakker of Fred Davids. All those offspring are turning 5 years old, and they do it very well during auction and during their first jumping presentations. The qualities of Duran Hero are the size, his blood, his jumping quality and his scope, combined with a perfect balance. If he's able to give a breeding advice, he says, Duran has everything. He's one of the best and most complete stallions that I know and we ever had at stud farm Zangersheide. Passes on his genes in an extreme dominant way. And when you walk through the fields with young horses, you can pick them out immediately, the offspring of Duran Hero. He has everything to become a real foundation stallion and to have a very big influence in future breeding. Said by Julian Melchior, ladies and gentlemen, seems to be one of her favorites, Duran Hero Z. The Don't Touch TG Hero Zandor Z stallion with a size of 1m71. Born in 2015, who is getting a big hand of applause here during the Zangersheide Stallion presentation. Django Z, bred in the stables of George Sievert. Django Z is Duran Hero Z combined with Captain Fire. With her height of 1m72, born in 2020. Purchased during the Woodland International Sales. And last year he impressed at the Stallion presentation. Showed himself during the Belgium Stallion competition with good results and larger and more solid, massive than his father he seemed to be. He's very long-lined and yet very simple to ride, and he expresses with his fabulous hind leg. Well, let's see how this Django Z will jump the course here in Centaur, in this international show arena where we host the Zangersheide International, an event with a stallion approval, a stallion presentation, and of course tomorrow the Sires, Saturday the Zangersheide Stallion auction, and on Sunday the Zangersheide 4-star Grand Prix. Angelique Rusen in the saddle of Django. The Duran Hero Z combined with Captain Fire. Like said before, great finish of the jump with its high neck. Very smooth rhythm. This Django Z is out of the dam line of Casanova 468. Ridden by Alexia Hilpiper and Marshall Ewan. Continues on father Duran Hero Z. Duran Hero, who combines the blood of Don't Touch TG Hero and Zinka de Calvary. Famous van Roosakker dam line is here combined with the dam line of the 160 jumper Casanova. Stallion with a very decent size, height of 1.72 m. Showed himself very well during the presentation in 2024. And he seemed to continue as his jumps are smooth and spectacular as well. Very easy to ride, catch the eye during the Woodland International Sales. Showed himself already very well during the Belgium Stallion competition. Massive canter, and what a finish on that final oxer. Of course, the scope and his fantastic hind leg are one of his qualities. But Julian says also his size, the length of the stride, that active hind leg and his rideability are specific qualities for Django Z, the Duran Hero combined with Captain Fire. If she could give an advice on his breeding, she said he has length, a good canter, he can add size, power, best cue, shape, body, classic manners without drawbacks, and he's a great alternative for Duran in combination with mares with too much blood that wouldn't suit Duran himself. Final rounds for Django Z. Let's enjoy the ride under the saddle with Angelique Rusen. Seem to add even more qualities now. The bar has been raised a little bit again. Mentioned. It's a pretty big course for a horse who's just 5 years of age. But he's doing it with so much ease, so much comfort and so much balance. Final jump coming up. Watching to Django Z, the Duran, Captain Fire. Couldn't end his presentation much better. Ladies and gentlemen, look at that final oxer. Look at the hind legs, powerful and great canter of Django Z, who could be a great alternative for Duran Hero in combination with mares with too much blood that wouldn't suit Duran himself. We continue now with Damix Z. Damix by Dorken, Action Pure and Balous Bellini. She said, Damix is a stallion that I've used in breeding myself last year. Extreme talent and one of my personal favorites. He was in training for the stallion competition and has been developing extremely promising, but unfortunately, just before Christmas 2024, he had an inguinal hernia and he's recovering now, and hopefully he'll be back soon and available for breeding at the end of March. Damix Z, Duran Hero, Action Pure, born in 2020. Stallion with a height of 1.67 meters. Julian, she used him herself already in breeding, but let's take a closer look to its family, its relatives. Mother Acaruña by Action Pure, another stallion who has been stabled at Studbook Zangersheide for years. Mother Acaruña is only 9 years of age, but she is jumping already in the 150 classes with Marie Schulze-Tophoff and has been placed several times in the 145 classes. The mother is the older sister of Da Canto's boy, of Christian Allman, placed already in 140 classes. And the third dam also competed in sport and is the grand dam of My Lord Cornet, another 160 performer with Misty Kazar out of the direct dam line to Damix Z. Stallion who is in turn relative to several international performers. Let's take a look at the rounds under the saddle of Damix Z during one of his performances in Azel of Lier. Damix, Duran Hero Z, Action Pure Z. His specific qualities, you see it in the screen, are his scope, blood, balance and his jumping quality. And Julian says, with Django and Damix, we do have two sons of Duran Hero Z already available with fresh semen. I would advise the breeders who would love to use Duran, but can't do it because they prefer to work with fresh semen, to use Damix, as he is almost a copy of his father, of his sire, Duran Hero Z. Yeah, if you want to follow his career, please follow the socials of Studbook Zangersheide, as they will be updated once there's news about Damix Z. And if you can compare the two, Django versus Damix, then Julian says Django will fit more to mares very high in blood, and Dynamix will be a perfect alternative when you want to add blood to your breeding mare. Grand Prix stallions who are able to add rideability and who did perform at the very highest 5-star Grand Prix 1m60 level. And not just about being nice to ride, but it's one of the crucial qualities to reach the very highest level. Rideability, more important than ever nowadays. So when you look a little bit more commercial to top sports and horse breeding in general. Both present by hand and both in a fantastic grey color. Let's start with Colorit Z. Coreano Z, Capitol 1, 1m74, born in 2003. And then Contagio Z, Colman Lordanos, 1m69, born in 2004. Jumped at the very highest level with Gerrit Nieberg. Very interesting stallion, as 42% of his offspring is black type. Colorit Z, Coreano Capitol 1. A lot of top results under the saddle of Christian Allman and David Will. He won in Mannheim the Grand Prix, he won in München the Grand Prix, and he became runner-up during the Grand Prix in Le Sauterme. Didn't breed a lot as a young stallion, so he was barely used. But his most recent new crop is now turning 5. But from that youngest crop, we do see Carlson 86, and we're watching together. One of his first and only offspring is already competing in the 160 classes with Lorenzo De Luca. He won, for example, the Grand Prix of Grimaud at 3-star level. Carlson, ridden by Grand Prix rider Lorenzo De Luca. Also, his offspring Concordia made it to the top spot under the saddle of David Will, performing in the 160 classes and has a winning amount of over 130,000 euros already. Both in the arena now, but let's continue with Colorit, with his fancy markings. His qualities, we saw them very short, seem to be the rideability, the balance, the scope, length of the stride. And Judy says Colorit is used by many breeders already for his very good conformation, type and model. He produces rideable horses with a comfortable amount of blood and willingness to work. So like I said before, rideability, comfort, balance, it's all you can expect when you use Colorit Z as a breeding stallion. And then the next Grand Prix stallion in the Zangersheide stallion presentation is Contagio Z. Colman Lordanos, 169, measured on the wither, born in 2004. Lots of inherited power, and sometimes a bit underestimated. He came to Gerrit Nieberg, former Aken Grand Prix winner, when Gerrit was still at a very young age. But he guided him to the very highest level. And impressive numbers, as 42% of his offspring currently has a Hippomundo black type already, which means that they are performing at a minimum of 1m45. His offspring has a winning amount of over 4.3 million already. And you do know his offspring, as one of them is this Kobe of Philipp Weishaupt, winner of the World Cup in La Coruña, winner of the Grand Prix in Valkenswaard, winner of the Grand Prix in Wellington, and placed 36 times in the top 3 of a 150 or 160 class. And he won over 7 1m60 Grand Prix. You also do recognize this one. Contagio for keeps. It's Contagious of McLean Ward, 165 classified and winner in Wellington, Bridghampton, Dublin and Greenwich at 5-star Grand Prix level. He was placed 35 times in the top 3 of a 150, 160 class. And then Chipetto, Contagio contender, ridden by Yannick Joran, was the number 1 in Saint-Tropez in a 1m45 class. And the final one is Catch Me Marathon, Contagio Werther, ridden by Yuri Mansour Garrios here at the Dutch Masters, where he ended up in a runner-up position in the 1m55 class. Contagio Z, born in 2004, Colman Lordanos Cassini 1. Contagio, his qualities seem to be blood, technique, balance and rideability. And Frederik is asking to Julian, how can we use him best? As he said, the offspring of Contagio is known for the amazing rideability and good balance. And like their sire, like their father, they have a fantastic mentality and a gentle character. Offspring of Contagio mostly have a picture-perfect sport model. They are light, have enough blood and are perfectly built for jumping. Have a phenomenal foreleg, a super shoulder, which you do see to his offspring who reached the very highest level already. Seem to have a very easy way of jumping and a great use of their body. And Judy also used him herself in her own breeding. And that says enough, ladies and gentlemen. We have been watching to Colorit Z, the Coreano Z Capitol. And we've been watching to Contagio Z, Colman Lordanos. Both with their own specific qualities, but both known by adding comfort and rideability. Julian started the story about Nasdaq already. Nasdaq is by Nixon van Meulenhof combined with Kazal. Another stallion born in 2020 with her height of 1m70. Performed himself very well in the Belgium stallion competition. And he was there remarked by the experts. Experts rate him highly, making Judy proud of the stallion. Still juvenile in his body, steady development, trust in him before the beginning or from the beginning, and believe in young stallions. All typical for this Nasdaq Z by Nixon and Kazal Ask with his remarkable spots, his remarkable markings all over his body. He's doing his tasks with a lot of ease, Judy says. And also Nasdaq Z will present himself over the fences here during the Zangersheide Stallion presentation at Centaur Park. fantastic event. Said it before, ladies and gentlemen, the Zangersheide International. If you do have time this weekend, please visit Centaur Park. Tomorrow we have the Stallion class, the Sires. Saturday evening, Zangersheide Stallion auction will be present here in the evening. And on Sunday is, of course, the Zangersheide International Grand Prix at 4-star level. Let's watch together to this Nasdaq Z by Nixon and Kazal. Very explosive from the ground. You really hear him backing off the floor. Bred with Hans-Herbert Pohlmann. He's fresh, he's exciting. And about his family. Nixon van Meulenhof performed at the very highest level with Jos Verlooy. It has been ridden by Harry Smolders as well. It's the dam line of Tibris by Cor de la Brière. Also the dam line to Ascari, who is the sire of Alice, who became world champion in Tryon with Simone Bloem. And Ascari is also the sire to Foundation Stallion and progenitor Aska Z. In this dam line we also recognize the international performers Q Bueno de Hus from Henrik von Eckermann and Cancan de la Cacha of Nayel Nassar. Further in the dam line, we also spot the 145 performers Ascaris, Gomeri della Caccia and Tirella della Caccia, just to name a few. Several branches out of this big dam line do perform in the international classes. Great colors. There's a lucky spot on the belly of Nasdaq Z, the Nixon Kazal. Who also has been born in 2020. Showing a very good response. When he has to jump out of the combination. And also on that final oxer, an impressive jump of Nasdaq Z. 4 specific qualities for this stallion are his rideability, the balance, the size, and his typical front technique. Great shoulder. Very quick with the front legs. Very easy, great working attitude. And Julian says, we do believe in him. We give him the time to develop his qualities. Nasdaq himself has a lot of blood. He's a very intelligent stallion with a quick front end. Still quite young in the head. born in 2020. So he needs a bit time to develop, but we will give him that time as we do believe in his qualities. The final rounds of Angelique Ruse and Nasdaq Z by Nixon and Kazal. Seem to be settled down a little bit. Now he's showing his real jumping qualities, combined with the rideability, combined with the balance. Great response there once he enters the double combination. Final jump of Nasdaq Z, the Nixon Kassal 2022 Stallion with a height of 1,70 m. Yeah, good presentation of Nasdaq Z with Angelique Ruse. Stallion with a lot of blood and a very intelligent stallion. Utamaro, Dekuzin and Kibis Z do enter the arena together, as they're both World Cup winners. Utamaro, we did saw at the very highest level with William Whittaker and later on with Joe Klee. Diamant Semi, Kidam de Revel, 1,63 m, born in 2004. And also Niels Bruinziels have been in the saddle of Utamaro, Dekuzin, and then Kibis Z of Christian Allman. Caritano Z, Cannabis Z, born in 2007 with a height of 1,65 m. Both won a World Cup and both are former 5-star Grand Prix winners. Well, it starts with Utamaro Dekuzin, the Diamant Kidam de Revel. Mother Arizona competed in the sport up to 145 level and also gave Bali de Cedrever of Marlon Modolo Zanotelli. Mother in turn is the sister to Dame Blanche van Arenberg, who jumped with Penelope Le Provo at 160 level and won the Grand Prix of La Baule. Some results of Utamaro with Joe Klee, Nations Cup winner in St. Gallen. Also with Joe Klee, they were the best in the Nations Cups of La Baule and Rotterdam. And at London Olympia, they won the World Cup qualifying. Competed at the World Equestrian Games with William Whittaker. At the Europeans in Aachen with Joe Klee. He was also presenting Cannes at the World Equestrian Games with Joe Klee. His offspring is still very young, as he haven't covered any mares, I think, during his sportive career. But from his first offspring, there are already licensed sons. Quality, length of the stride, technique and rideability are the qualities of Utamaro. And Julian says, I would use Utamaro on a larger framed mare, high in blood, who can use a fighting mentality and a good technique. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. A large framed mare, high in blood, who can use a fighting mentality. Talking about that fighting mentality, something Kibis Z maybe can also add. It's Caritano Z Cannabis, born in 2007, with her height of 1,65 m. bred from Canasta Z, who jumped in the 160s with Paris Selen, and also the grandmother, Carlaya Z, jumped at the very highest level with Frederik Wietberg Runje and with Julian Melchior later on. Kibis, who won the Grand Prix of Hong Kong, Saint-Tropez and Leipzig, has a lot of quality, a lot of technique, blood and rideability. First offspring is now turning 4 years of age, but he has already a license and a premium stallion from his first crop. And if Julian can give a breeding advice, he said he brings real jumpers with a lot of quality and a very good technique. Kibis' offspring have a super quick front leg and a good use of the shoulder. And his offspring has a lot of eagerness and is very intelligent. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's something you need to keep in mind. He gives intelligent offspring, playful offspring. So if your mare can use that, if your mare can use a little bit blood, a little bit character, and a little bit intelligence, then Kibis Z could be the ideal partner. Yeah, what a scope it was. The entrance of Genius VVZ to the Zangersheide Stallion catalog. First Appaloosa Stallion out of a super dam line actually. It's a slightly green stallion for its age, as he's 6 years of age, born in 2019. Is bred with Evelien van Vrekkom. You recognize the VV behind Genius. And Evelien van Vrekkom saw its father, Little Indian, as a young horse. Bought some semen from him, but didn't use it. But later on, she saw him again when she was in the United States, where he performed in the 1m40 classes. And at that time, she decided to use it on one of her top breeding mares, daughter of Utamaro Z. Father, Little Indian, was originally named just in time. Born in the Netherlands, son of Star Trek, himself a son of Quick Star. And Little Indian goes back to an Irish dam line with plenty of thoroughbred blood. Comes from the dam line that produced plenty of successful eventers. For example, like the 5-star eventer Billy Chuku of Pepper Funnel and Tom Jackson. Stallion Little Indian competed himself up to the 145 classes with Misty Kazar. And then a bit more about Genius. His mother died 1 month after giving birth to him. His grandmother jumped as a 7-year-old up to the 1m40 classes. And then the third mother is a very influential and foundation mare. As she is Ligi by Royal Feu. Ligi is mother to 9 horses who do perform at a minimum of 1m45 or higher, including Show of Doda de Miranda, 160, Calimero of Ivan Camargo, 1m60, the stallion Tinka's Hope, 1m60, Demi van Grunsen, and C. Ligi is a daughter of Bébé du Château, who is in turn a sister of the mother to Global Champions Tour final winner Ito du Château, one of the best horses Edwina Tops Alexander had. Like I said, Genius is slightly green for his age, born in 2019. Little Indian by Star Trek, who's in turn a son of Quick Star. Jumped at 145 level himself. Then we recognize Utamaro Z and Choco Blue. The grandmother is the mare Energy VV, who jumped in the 1 meter 40 classes with Brent Goblon. And Energy, the grandmother, is the full sister to Kirby VV. Kirby VV jumped in the 1 meter 50 classes and in turn is the dam to an impressive horse at 5-star Grand Prix level currently, Corby VV of Daniel Blumen. All packed in the genetics of this genius VV Z. First and only Appaloosa Stallion in the Zangersheide catalog. And the good news is he is able to pass on his remarkable markings, his fancy spots. One of the first performances together, Jokely and Genius. He did a little bit sport already. He jumped 1 or 2 rounds in the Stallion competition. Frederick is asking again, what do you think his specific qualities are? As he said, well, he has a fabulous technique. He actually has stride and length. And of course, his technique, his jumping quality is standing out. As he said, last year we saw really athletic falls of him with often a beautiful color pattern. One of the highlights of the Zangersheide quality was Jewel VVZ, who was sold for €80,000 that evening. As he says, if I use him myself, I would use him as he can add quality and a large canter. I would use him on supple mares that are high in blood. If you want to breed something special, if you want to add some color to your breeding studs, well, he seemed to be the one, ladies and gentlemen, Genius VVZ. Not only a promising stallion himself, but his offspring with that remarkable markings seem to stand out as well. A great finish of the course Genius VVZ is the new addition in the Zangersheide Stallion catalog. Little Indian combined with Ugano Z, combined with Choco Blue, and then that famous foundation mare Ligi. Talking about power play, Zangersheide has 3 Grand Prix stallions to present to you. Dieu merci van TNL, Toulon Corrado 1. Extra Z by Berlin and Heartbreaker. And the third is Jensen van Meulenhof, de Vagabond de la Pomme, Kidam de Revel. All present here these former Grand Prix horses. All with their own successful sportive career. 3 powerhouses from the Zangersheide Stallion catalog. Yeah, we start with Dieu Merci van TNL Z, Toulon Corrado, height of 1.72 m, born in 2009. Dieu Merci, which means in French, thank God, was bought by the Canadian Ryan family. Gave the ride first to Eric Lamaze, and next on, Dieu Merci competed under the saddle of Beth Underhill. But he got injured during one of his performances in Rome. And although he is still on the age of 16 years, he would not return into the sport. De America is also the dam of Quincy Rot van TNL of Victoria Gulliksen. And the offspring of Dieu Merci is performing at top level already. We saw Diana Duplé-Vaux Z, Dieu combined with Kashmir 160 jumper. Ducat, Dieu Merci combined with Coleman, performing in the 1.50 m classes with Lea Jelmik. And also performing international is this Dido van de Ruitershof. Dieu Merci paired with the mare by Bamako de Muse. Dido jumping in the 155 classes, and he won in 2024 already 7 international ranking classes. Dieu, known for his qualities, 4 of them are scope, size, blood and jumping quality. Breeding advice would be, this year Dieu Merci will be present with his first crop at Zangersheide. Top of the size and scope, Dieu will probably bring quality, balance and horses who are willing to work. I would use him on a mare with a good shoulder technique. And Toulon, who's no longer available with fresh semen in sport, has an alternative with this Dieu Merci in breeding. Then Extra Z, son of Berlin and Heartbreaker. Good combination. Born in 2009, 169. Full brother of More Than Extra. Placed with Victor Dantas Medeiros de Carvalho in the 160 classes. Mother is the sister to Mandy, 155 of Andreas Kniepling. And the grandmother is also the grandmother of Husinta. The male is heir, ridden by Demi van Grunsven. Just a few results of Extra, who won the Nations Cup in Spruce Meadows, who won in Rome the Nations Cup with Olivier Philipparts, and who was the best or the runner-up in Barcelona during the Nations Cup final in 2019. Some of its offspring: Extreme van de Kattenvenne, H&M Extra combined with Darko, performing in the 145 classes with Sky Higging, and later on with Chocolate Jacobs. Elton PZ, H&M Extra combined with Thunder van de Zuidhoeve, jumped in the 1.40 m classes. And some numbers, 2017. From his 18 offspring, 3 of them are performing in the 140 classes. 2015, 1 of them who's competing in the 145 classes. And we're waiting all for the next crop to break through at international level. Its qualities are stride length, size and scope. And if Judy can give a breeding advice, well, 2024, the breeders welcomed him with open arms. Extra will add scope and canter. He himself has jumped everything around the globe, and there's no jump which was too difficult or too high for him. It will give also size and body, and it will bring commitment and courage to its offspring. great work and a lot of quality H&M Extra can add to its offspring. And then the final one, the final powerhouse present here in the arena. Another one born in 2009 with a height of 1,78 m is Jenson van Meulenhof, Vagabond Kidam de Revel, out of the famous Curlichin dam line. His mother is Narcotique de Muze by Kidam, who was one of the Grand Prix horses of Ludo Philipparts. Jensen is brother to 6 horses who perform at a minimum of 1,50 m or 55 level. And Mother Narcotique is a sister of Narcotique by Eric Lamas, Walloon, dam of Toupie de la Roque and Senta, Walnut de Muze, former championship horse of Harry Smolders, Werlichin de Muze, mother to Diables, and the Olympic mare Darry Chin. And there's some inbreeding on the Curlichin dam line, as also father Vagabond is out of this direct dam line. Offspring of Jenson is No Comment de Septon, combined with Coule Roubaix. 160 jumper with Natja Petter-Steiner. Felina de Septon, jumping in the 155 classes with René Dietmer. And we saw Inuit du Seigneur, or we do see him currently at World Cup level. Jensen combined with Aganix. Also performing in the 160 classes with Rick Hemerik. His qualities: stride length, technique, size and scope. And Judy says he can add endless scope and has a brilliant mindset. And if I could use him, I would do it on a modern blood mare that is not too large. If you want to add size, Jensen is certainly a good choice. And beside that, I believe it's always interesting to add the genetics of this fantastic family who are paired together by Vagabond de la Pomme and the dam line of Narcotique, all in the pedigree of Jenson van Meulenhof. So long time to hesitate, ladies and gentlemen. 3 powerhouses who entered the arena by hand: Dieu Merci, Extra Z and Jenson van Meulenhof. We continue with Toem de Rigor. Toem by Chaco and Sento. 169, born in 2019. Jumped the final of the World Championships previous year, but was in fact a little bit too green to fight for the title this year. He was juvenile as a 4- and 5-year-old and also bred quite a lot over those years. And now over the autumn and winter, he made an enormous mental and physical progression. Started very well this season, as the breeders did saw him already during his performances in the Belgium Stallion competition. Judy has enormous faith in him. She said his quality is outstanding, he's very smart and intelligent, and he has a great front technique, a little bit like the sire, like Chaco Blue himself. Waiting for the first jumps of Toem de Rigor, bred with the family Veldeman. Few fantastic first jumps of this stallion, who made a great progression during the past months. Have been very busy breeding at the age of 4 and 5. And Joe seemed to be a very or seem to have a very good connection with Toedor Z. Toedor Z. Choco Cento out of that famous foundation mare, directly out of the famous foundation mare Santa de Meuse, which makes Toem the brother to Freestyle of Richie Maloney, third in the Grand Prix of Wellington, but also brother to Horizon de Rigor of Pieter Clemens and Jos Lansing, with top placings in Drachten, Eindhoven and Geesteren, of Indy de Rigor of Jos Verlooy, and of Imogen de Rigor of Callan Solem. And C herself is mother to Mitras and Letitia de Rigor of Edwina Tops Alexander. Santa herself, Santa de Meuse, is the sister to Dayton de Meuse and to Toupie de La Roque. 5-star Grand Prix winner with Pieter de Vos. Very curious what Judy has to say about the breeding advice of this stallion, of this Toedor Z, who has a fantastic pedigree with Choco Blue as a sire, directly combined with Santa de Meuse, who in turn is a direct daughter to the Grand Prix performer Wallon de Meuse bij Nabab. Santa, mother to several 160 and 150 Grand Prix horses. Stallion with a fantastic shoulder. Toedor Z. Frederick is asking, yeah, what do you see when you, or what do you recognize when you see this Toem jumping? And Judy says, well, he has indeed a fantastic front technique, a super shoulder. Great jumping qualities, but also I do think that he has plenty of scope. As he says, I'm extremely satisfied with his first crop. They are large-framed foals with a beautiful expression and a good canter. And I would use him in the same way as we used Choco Blue himself before. Toem will bring us a real sport horses with a good model, sharp front leg and a sportive mentality. Those are his specific qualities. Stallion with a fabulous jumping technique and a fabulous pedigree. Toedor Z by Choco Blue out of Santa de Meuse. Still a little bit green for his age, but if he keeps on developing like this, it will be a great future ahead for Toedor Z. Coming into the final oxer. He's getting a big hand of the crowds of the stages who are completely filled here on the long sides in Centaur Park. Toedor Z, presented by Joe Klee, the Choco Blue Cento stallion with a height of 1.69 m, born in 2019. Continue now with two stallions who are presented as the ballerinas of the stallion catalog. Brunetti and Comme il faut plus. On the screens, you recognize Christian Allman in the saddle of Comme il faut plus. great performance during their rounds in the final at the World Championships for young horses. And Brunetti Z by Balus Bellini and Arpeggio. You do see him here in the screen. Brunetti Z, born in 2012. Balus Bellini combined with Arpeggio. Had a promising sportive future ahead, but injured himself as a young horse. Jumped until the age of 7 in the international young horse classes and became 4th during the World Championships performance as a 5-year-old. From its family, we recognize that the grandmother is also the grandmother of Ferrari of Steve Gerda, former Grand Prix winner, and of Baroness of Luis Fernando Larrazabal, who is placed in several 1m55 Grand Prix. It's also the dam line to Balus Diamond and to Baroness, both by Balus Bellini, and last named has been ridden by Gavin Moylan. Offspring of Balus of Brunetti Z is, for example, Biarritz Z, bred by Julian Melchior, Brunetti Z Champione, currently performing in the 130 classes at the age of 7. Was with Kasia Soberon, the number 1 in Leer recently in a class for 6-year-old horses. Brunetti Z, a very modern stallion, a very blood-typed stallion, able to add scope, size, blood and rideability combined with light-footedness. The very modern stallions, he says, has proven already to produce horses with a lot of blood. Like himself, his offspring are built very uphill. And in the sport, Brunetti showed a lot of scope, which he passes on to his offspring. And besides all those quality, Brunetti will add, of course, his own balance, soft mouth and his blood to his direct offspring. And then Comme il faut plus Z. Born in 2009, 1m67 height on the Witter. Became the number 5 during his performance at the World Championship for 7-year-old horses in Lanaken. 60% of his classes he cleared during his rounds up to the 1m45 classes. A stallion who was very quick from the ground, explosive from the ground. He shows blood, light-footedness and sharpness. And his offspring has already stepped into his footsteps. Big steps to fill, but for example, London did it. Comme il faut plus Quadrillo under the saddle of Ken Farrington at 160 level present. Gadget in 4 seasons, we see in the sport with Henrik von Eckermann at 1m55 level. Comme il faut plus Contagio Z. Cordis Totalis, Comme il faut plus Z, combined with Tis Voltaire, with Niels Taka placed in several Grand Prix at 1m60 level. And also Corona Z is by Comme il faut plus Z, combined in the dam line with Calvaro Z, competing in the 150 classes under the saddle of Aura Fatsama. A lot of his offspring is competing at 155, 1m60 level already. And his specific qualities are balance, technique, blood and quality. And Judy says he will bring a sharp foreleg, light-footedness, of course jumping quality and explosiveness from the ground. Have, for example, a look at Landon of Ken Farrington. Now move to the stables of Daniel Blumen. He himself is probably one of the best horses currently in the world and a very complete sport horse. And for me, London is the example of the offspring of Comme il faut plus Z. Happy to have them both here in the arena together. The athletic ballerinas of the Zangersheide Stallion catalog, Brunetti Z and Comme il faut plus Z. Next stallion entered the arena. It's Codex Diaz Z. It will be presented under the saddle of Christian Alman. Codex 1, Kornet Obolensky, born in 2017, and he is new in the collection. Was sold last year during the Zangersheide quality auction for 1 million euros. And his new owner, Frank Auer, trusted him to Zangersheide and to Christian Alman for sport and of course for his breeding career. Placed himself at the age of 8 already in several 1m40 classes. One of the prize highlights of the Zangersheide quality auction, and secured for the sportive career of Christian Alman and also secured for the Zangersheide Stallion catalog by Frank Auer. And also this Codex Diaz Z will of course jump during his presentation. Let's enjoy the rides. Let's enjoy the first jumps, who do look very easy, very smooth, with a lot of quality. Collecting perfectly to that final oxer. Codex Diaz, the Codex 1, Kornet Obolensky, is the brother of 3 horses who do perform at 145, 1m50 level, including the 9-year-old Collier's Carlotta, 1m50 jumper of Angelique Russe. Is bred with Hof Bruning, Codex Diaz Z, the Codex 1, Kornet Obolensky Graf Top, from a mother who already gave 3 horses at international 145, 150 level. Impressive jumps by this great powerhouse under the saddle of Christian Alman. The specific qualities of Codex Diaz are, of course, the scope, the ease, but also the technique, its rideability, its attitude and its balance. And Judy says he has a perfect rideability, a lot of technique. And he's very similar to his father, Codex 1Z. Clever horse. The scope is always available when it has to, and he really has a mindset of a warrior. As he says, if I could give a breeding advice, I know him since he was 3 months old. Was a very spectacular foal himself, and he won already the Zangersheide festival in Germany. And I believe, he says, that Codex Diaz Z will produce his offspring like he is himself and was, with a beautiful model, a great canter and an extreme presence. We've been watching together to Codex Diaz Z, stallion born in 2017 with a height of 1.67 m. Codex won Kornet Obolensky out of a dam who already gave 3 international performances at 145 and 150 level. Still one of the highlights in the Zangersheide catalog is Aganix du Seigneur, presented here by hand. Aganix Oganositchelano, born in 2006, 1.69 m. Brother of Aganix and Arsuil du Seigneur, both international performers. And out of Aganix's sisters are Helix of Yuri Mansour, Ironix of Cali Scott, and Junior du Seigneur, only 10 years of age, but jumping with Edward Levy already in the 155 classes. The mother to Aganix is the sister of Calasit from Cristina Liber, of Riviera Sit of Martina Meroni, and of Atlantic du Seigneur, who became world champion as a 7-year-old with Gudrun Patate, and later on performed with Kian O'Connor and Max Wackman. Then third dam, Insel Sitte, another Grand Prix mare out of the direct dam line of Aganix, who has offspring at the very highest level, including this one, Ambassador, who won a global with Ines Jolie. Took already over 1.5 million of prize money. Agena van Gerendal, another offspring of Aganix du Seigneur, out of the Vrijminka stam, ridden by Lily Keenan, and winner of the Wellington Grand Prix at 160 level. But what about Lambada Sheikh, former Hendrik stallion, moved to the stables of Kian O'Connor. Lambada Sheikh by Aganix and Spartacus of Maxwell Kimmar Agalux, who performed at the Olympics with Yanakaborn Karunajai for Thailand. Another one who reached the newspapers was Aikaramba Z, one of the auction highlights, an offspring of Aganix du Seigneur, who adds scope, quality, size and blood to his offspring. One of the most complete stallions if you want to use a breeding stallion. Frederick is asking Judy why Aganix, and she said, we at Zangersheide believe that Aganix is a real foundation sire. Has proven to be one of the very best breeding stallions we ever had. Very, very proud to have this stallion in the stable for so many years already, and that we can present him to our breeders for this much years. You can use Aganix on any kind of mare. He will always bring and add jumping quality with a lot of scope, with blood, and with a very sportive mentality. He gives a jumper every time on every kind of mare, Judy says. Well, great to have him here at the presentation. Aganix, born in 2006, Organosit Celano Z with a height of 1.69 m. And then we continue with a stallion who was popular at the breeders. Ambassador Z is Aganix combined with Rubens du Ridas. 172 born in 2020, born at stud farm Zangersheide. Judy says we purchased the mother, Quasi Belle, at our own Zangersheide online auction, and she brought us fantastic young horses already. Started very well in the stallion competition, this Ambassador Z with Joe Klee. And now Angelique rides him, as Joe has a lot to ride already. He's not very happy that he can't present him here, as he has high expectations of Ambassador Z. Well, this to be top stallion can show that jumping qualities now under the saddle of Angelique Rouse, who has a fantastic pedigree. Aganix paired with one of the foundation mares, namely Quasi Belle du Seigneur. Ambassador Z has a good size, born in 2020. And it's one of the own breeding products, successful breeding products of stud farm Zangersheide. Bumps off the ground there on that vertical. We just enjoy the jumps and we just enjoy the ride of Angelique Rouse and this Ambassador, who combines the genetics of Aganix du Seigneur and Quasi Belle. Lots of power, this Ambassador Z. Mother, like said, is Quasi Belle du Seigneur, who is in turn mother to Ogrove's Hartveld, 160, Rolf Göran Bengtsson. Of Arak du Seigneur, 160, Angelique Rouse of Vivaldique, Arthur da Silva, and of Colibel Hero of Stephen Moore, also jumping in the 160s. Grandmother is Grand Prix winner Tabelle van Sombeke from Jos Lansing, who is in turn the mother to Olympic silver medal winner Glocks London and to Grand Prix winner Golden Hawk. Just check it out on Himbo Mundo or Horse Telex. So much internationals you will recognize in the pedigree of Ambassador Z, the Aganix Quasi Belle. Fantastic pedigree. And a great future ahead for Ambassador Z, who combines the best of breeding, who combines Aganix and Quasi Belle. So much ease, so much power, so much scope. And like said, only 5 years of age. So this one has special markings all over his body. Frederick says, yeah, he has a very good overview, a very good balance, has the quality for a Grand Prix horse. Tell us a bit more about him. And Judy says, well, his qualities are indeed his intelligence, the rideability, his jumping qualities, no doubt about that, his unlimited scope and power. He's very flashy in the jump. He has, of course, that fancy collar, and he's in his body, in his mindset, and with his talent, a very promising and a very complete stallion. And if we combine everything with its family, she also says, yeah, if I could give a breeding advice, a very complete sport horse, and therefore he suits a wide range of mares. He has a good size, a good character, a top technique, and unlimited scope. And for us, he's a very promising son of Aganix, and combined with this extremely and extraordinary dam line, we do believe that he can become a precious breeding and even a top progenitor as a stallion. That's the way we love to see a horse finishes the jump. One fence left for Ambassador Z, the Aganix du Seigneur. We give him a big hand of applause. Great performance under the saddle of Angelique Russe. Ansing de Lis. It's all about spot, Frederick says. Aganix, again, this time combined with Canon, 2017 born. And Judy says he was the number 4 during the World Championships for 5-year-old horses. He won a lot of classes as a 6- and 7-year-old, and he's 100% spot stallion. 75% of his round he cleared at 135 level, and 71% of his 1m40 classes have been cleared by Ansing de Lis with Jokely in the saddle. Ansing de Lis, who is bred in the Netherlands with Lisman, who's present here under the saddle of Jokely. Energetic and explosive start for the pair. They really have a good connection together. Jokely and this Ansing de Lis. Did see them performing together a couple of times now. This is the kind of horse every rider likes to have in his stable. Very promising. And a closer look to its family brings us to Willink of Henk van de Pol. Former Grand Prix 1-meter-60 horse, is the brother to the mother of Ansing de Lis. Mother is also the sister to Uppie de Lis, 1-meter-60 jumper of Haley Waters, and of Cola de Lis, jumping in the 145 classes with Max van de Pol. From this family is also Finesse, who performed at the Olympics in Atlanta with Emil Hendricks. And the third mother is the grandmother to Sterrenhof's Baccarat, former Grand Prix winner with Mark Houtsager. Stallion who really seemed to like the job, always with the ears up, always with the eyes wide open. Very eager to get to the fences. A lot of concentration by Ansing de Lis. Its qualities, Judy says, are blood, a top technique, scope, and of course jumping qualities. And her breeding advice, she says, we saw the first foals of Ansing in 2024 and I was really enthusiastic about their quality. All have a fantastic and balanced canter and a very good model. And to me, the foals of Ansing were really the revelation at the Z Festival of 2024. As he says, well, he can use a mare with a decent size. He won't add like real size, as he will probably or likely not enlarge, but he will make the offspring more sporty. So he will modernize, he will bring blood, he will bring sport, and of course he will add his top mentality to its offspring. A very positive advice and a real recommendation to use him. Ansing de Lis by Aganix, then the blood of Kanan, Landsieger and Nuriel. Direct dam line of the Olympic ride of Emil Hendricks, Finesse, and of Mark Houtsager's Sterrenhof's Baccarat, and Henk van de Pol, his former 5-star Grand Prix winner, Willink. You can't raise the bar high enough for Ansing de Lis currently. Super ride by Jokely and fantastic jumps of Ansing de Lis, who gets a big hand of applause from the stage here. And then the final stallion of the evening, Allroad 2000 Z, Aganix Cheval, daughter of Cassini, who has 3 approved sons. Stallion of 1-meter-72, born in 2017. Judy tells he came pretty late into the collection. So the oldest offspring are now turning 2 years of age. It was very popular in 2024. And despite being so busy, he is already a 1-meter-40 winner. Well, let's see how Allroad 2000 Z will jump under the saddle of Christian Allman. Also riding, of course, its half-brother, Dominator. From Cheval, we saw earlier Champion 2000 Z. Educated so far by Angelique Russe. What a jumps he's showing here. This Allroad 2000 Z. Eager to get to the fences. And what a way to finish the jump. Well, talking about the family, we've said it a couple of times already. Also, Allroad is bred out of Cheval. Cheval, who jumped in the 140 classes herself. Allroad brother to Dominator and brother to Champion 2000 Z. The third Imandra by Atlet competed with Torsten Wittenberg. And it's also the line of Anaconda, European Championships horse of Willy Mellinger, and of Valentin Di Villagana of Giacomo Cassadai. And Christian really seemed to enjoy the ride in the saddle of Allroad 2000 Z. So much power, so much quality, so much technique. We're all enjoying the jumps of this powerhouse. Yes, getting a hand of applause already. Allroad 2000 Z, while the bars are getting up a little bit for its final round. And Frederik is asking, what do you think is specific for Allroad? Quality, technique, size, and a good canter. Those four qualities Judy would put on the screen for Allroad 2000 Z. And as he said, you need to take care that your mare has enough length. Allroad himself has a fantastic technique and a lot of quality. And I'm convinced that he will add these qualities to his offspring. And like his brother, I would use him on a mare with enough length. He will bring quality, an offspring that will jump with a good use of their shoulder. And I would use Allroads on a mare that is high enough in blood. Final round coming up from Christian Allman and Allroad 2000 Z. Final stallion in the Zangersheide 2025 catalog. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the complete studbook Zangersheide, I would like to thank you for watching to the Zangersheide Stallion presentation. Like said earlier, if you do have time, come and visit us during the Zangersheide International. It's a fantastic event with tomorrow the Sires, with on Saturday the Zangersheide Stallion auction, and on Sunday the Zangersheide International 4-star Grand Prix. Thanks for viewing, thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And if you do have questions about the Stallions, please ask them to the Zangersheide team. And otherwise, we would like to welcome you in Lanaken with your mare. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching to the Zangersheide Stallion presentation.